What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. We did the thing, man. We did the thing. I'm very proud. I don't normally toot my horn, but man, I'm going to toot my horn a little bit. We were staring down the face of death this morning, and we spit right at it, right? We were saying, no, you look like you're going to go lower, but I feel like I did a pretty good job, right? I think it was this candle that I said I don't think we go lower. We went slightly lower that next hour, but we held our ground, and we had a phenomenal pump. It was more phenomenal than I thought it would be. I did not think that we would pump all the way up to 2.6 cents. I hope nobody FOMO'd in up here, but there's volume. Somebody bought, somebody sold, right? It happens. It's okay, my friends. On the bright note, if you bought these highs with what's going on now, I expect that in no time at all, probably within the days, let alone within the weeks, you'll be well above these highs. So it's perfect. I love moments like this because it doesn't matter where you buy, man. It's just low risk, and I don't know if it's low risk. I think it's low risk. Who am I to say? Maybe I should say it's low stress, because there's always risk. You could go down. Buying in areas like this are low stress because even if they do go down, even if the risk is there, it will likely come back up. We will likely see targets that are above this. Anything below this high, as long as you're buying below that high there, I think that it is relatively low risk. So that's all I was trying. That's all I was trying to say. I didn't want to get ahead of myself and say that there's like no risk here at all. There is always risk, but I think that right now, even if you make the bad choice and you buy at the wrong time, it's nothing to stress about, right? It really isn't anything to stress about. People are probably wondering, or I don't know if people are wondering this, but if I played any short-term trades, or maybe why I didn't make any short-term announcements on this move. I was doing things today, you guys. I have some real-world things that I had to take care of, and we just moved about a week ago, so I had some stuff to take care of. I was in the process of driving, and I missed this move entirely. By the time I saw the price, it was like this candle here, and I was like, damn it. I definitely would have sold up here, you guys. By the time we got above these highs here, I would have sold. I would have gotten all out, let alone these highs here. I say all out. I don't mean everything that I have in XCN, just my short-term plays, but whatever. We're waiting. I think that it is going to continue to go higher. If we look at this relative high or relative low here to this relative high, we stopped, we double bottomed right in the golden ratio, right at the base of the 6.9. It's not just a funny number. It is a number that finds relevance. I made it for a reason, right? There's the 6.9 is not a fib, but it is a target that I find significance on from time to time. And we just happen to find significance on it there. Just so it's clear, my friends, if you remember what I was saying in yesterday's video, I was saying that when we break out of this downtrend, likely when we break out, we will see a more explosive movement up above these highs than what we saw coming into them. While this was nice, and I remember I said it yesterday, if it wasn't last night's video, it had to have been the morning video, but I think it was last night's video, if not yesterday morning's video, but who cares? I remember saying that this was nice. We moved up fast like this, but because we've already made these movements, whenever we break out and we expand higher, likely we're going to progress through this range faster than how we progressed the first time. I don't think that we'd progress through it slower. Does that make sense? And I think this right here is evident of that, because the levels of volume that we saw, while on the red candle it was larger than anything else that we saw, really it's pretty similar to everything that we saw here, right? If this green volume was as small as this one, but it was the same volume overall in the 2 hours, that red candle would have been basically that same volume there. In a 2-hour basis, these candles here had the same volume that these ones did here, but the price action is a lot bigger. And of course it's going to be a lot bigger. We've already done this, so we've got, we've made our minds up as far as what's relevant and what's not relevant. I believe from a high to a low, I believe that we are on our way to prices that are at 3 cents and above, right? 3 cents, 3.3 cents above that, right? XCN does like to tear through its first extended area. Oftentimes, you don't really spend too much time in the zone before seeing the secondary targets. And in fact, I think we can probably measure that. Let's see. Let's see here on the way up. If you go from a high to a low, you did, okay, so here you actually did find some significance in your primary expected zone. You went a little bit above it still, but you definitely found some significance there. You went all the way up to your 1618, though. I think that's important to mention. You just basically went all the way up there. That's when you started to find some turbulence, okay? If we take this high to low over here, high to low right here, again, just tearing right through this whole zone up to your 1618. You went all the way up to your 1886 and then progressed higher to your 2618 over here, right? Go back even further. I mean, this one definitely, I don't think that one's fair to take, but let's take a daily, because that one, of course, the very small ones, of course, those will give you the 2618s and stuff. I mean, here, high to low, you went all the way up to your 2886 before finding any significance, well surpassing your primary expected zone. All I'm trying to say by all of this, my friends, is that when XCN moves up, it often does not regard its primary target zone at all. If anything, it just regards the 1618. So when I tell you that we're moving up to prices above 3 cents, it might not be bullish enough. On a 1 hour basis, not a 2 hour basis, I'm sorry, the 1618 is at about 3.3 cents. And what we saw from what we just saw, it's very likely that we go above that. The next target from there is about 3.5 cents. The 2618, the 2886 was about the extent of what we saw on that first kind of breakout attempt. This is the 1 hour time frame. This is a very small fib, so I think the 2886 is a possibility to consider, though it's not something to count on. The reality of this is that by the end of next week, you guys, because this is on a 1 hour time frame, so I would assume that by the end of next week, we will be at targets likely that are at 3.5 cents to about 4.7 cents, or more likely something in between, is what I think. That's personally my expectation. We're at 2.4 cents now, and this is what I meant whenever at the beginning of the video I said that anybody buying here, there's no stress, or at least there shouldn't be stress. There should be very minimal amounts of stress, because we're on our way higher, you guys. We're on our way higher. If we put targets, this is our minimum target area. I mean, okay, our technical minimum target is the 1618. Okay, we'll put a line there. Here's our maximum target. All the way up here. Okay. I'm going to delete the ugly arrows. Delete, delete, delete. If I can click on it, delete that. I'm going to delete the box, and then we're going to delete the fibs. And then we're going to look at this thing unadulterated on a 4 hour time frame. So again, in order, this is your 1618, this is your 1886, and then this is your 2886, all the way up here, right? Minimum target zone, I would say this is really your true minimum zone, and this is your absolute maximum by the end of this move on a 1 hour basis, which likely happens by the end of this week. Your 1618, your true minimum target, comes in right here at these prior areas of resistance. If you were to break out of these lows and move right up to the first area of resistance, that makes a lot of sense. Even that next line, the 1886, comes in pretty well with these areas of resistance. You could go a little bit through that as well. I think that you have a 2272. Yeah, 2272 right there at about 4 cents, just below 4 cents. And right there at your highs, that's just below 4 cents. So there are other fibs that agree with that as well. And then your maximum target is all the way at your all-time highs. All I'm trying to say by this is we're consolidating here. When you break out, you likely don't just disregard all of this stuff on the way, right? I think we're going to move up fast. I think we will move up faster than what we saw here. I really think that we're about to get in our stride again, but we will find turbulence. Nothing to get discouraged about, but we will find turbulence, a little bit of turbulence, right? We found turbulence on the way up. Turbulence looked like this. And turbulence, by the way, it dropped you down 48% in the course of a day. Turbulence, the time before that, dropped you down 47% in the course of a day, right? I think the Justin Sun dump was here, and then this was just back testing that for support for whatever reason, but 40% plus dumps happen. We could move all the way up to this area here to this high and see a drop that's 30%, 20%, whatever, and still be well in a position that takes us to new all-time highs, new relative highs, and all that stuff. So don't get shaken out with any implied volatility that happens in this range. But likely, if we're consolidating here, in this range here, right, and we're at the base of this range, when you break out, you probably don't just disrespect every single thing that you've done right now, right? You probably find, at least on a short-term 4 hour to 1 hour aspect, you probably find some turbulence at these levels. Whatever the case may be, however it's going to look, you're at 2.42 cents right now. I very strongly believe that by the end of next week, within 7 days from now, we'll see targets, prices above 3.5 cents. I really like this target here at about 4 cents personally. Nice psychological level. But it's also completely possible we could reach for new all-time highs. XCN is a tricky one. If you haven't figured it out by now, you guys, it's a tricky one. It tricked me. It tricked me a little bit, right? I bought I bought at prices that were higher than we're at now whenever I was doing this short-term trade, and I was stuck in this little move because I thought we were going to go higher. And retrospectively, things are so obvious, but it's a tricky one. Whenever it looked like it was going to drop lower this morning, it looked like it was going to drop lower, but I was like, something's telling me it's gonna move up, right? And I feel like that wasn't the most obvious call to make because the candles were definitely looking bearish and the RSI wasn't looking too hot. But there were reasons to expect the low. I'm just saying this thing is. I think that it is tricky, right? You look like you're about to see a lower low here, and what do? You find a slightly higher low. You look like you're about to go lower here, and what do? You pump. Here, same thing. You look like you're about to see a lower low, but that's whenever you pump and then you start to rip. I'm just saying, what we could do is move all the way up to the all-time high or the relative high, look like we're about to expand and go out, and then right when we're at that moment where we're about to break out, that's whenever we correct, and because it's tricky. So all I'm trying to say is, even if in our wildest dreams we move up to about 4.7 cents, 4.6 cents by the end of next week, don't get too excited. Don't count on this being broken. I would love to be conservative and consider that you probably find resistance in this area, consolidate a little bit before ripping up. I would love to expect this and then be wrong and just it tears right through the roof without even giving it any kind of notice of consolidation here. I'd love to be wrong. I would not like to expect that it's just going to tear through the roof and then it drops and then I'm like, oh no, this goes against my expectations. What do I do now? Should I panic sell? That's not good. And then boom, and then it rips from there, right? It does all the things that we'd expect it to do. Likely you're going to find resistance somewhere in this area. You'll come back, you'll find support either in that area or at least around like 2.8 cents, something that's relevant. And then from there we will build out. On a 4-hour basis, this whole thing right here, the end of next week is right here, right? This is the end of next week is in this time frame. So we have a lot of room to run and play in this kind of area, okay? Going into the end of the month, not next week, but going into the end of the month, that's when I think we'll be above this high. That's when I think a lot of cryptos are actually going to be breaking out to new relative highs. And XCN alongside with like the rest of the altcoin market, I think, is going to be in a rather robust movement up that will take us to anything from about 10 cents to 25 cents. And we can go over that now real quick before ending the video. We take the all-time high from May 2022, and we take our low here, our bear cycle low in October 2023. And you can see that you have broken out, torn right through the golden ratio, and pulled back now, and you found support on the golden ratio for the past 2 weeks. The minimum target that I could fathom, the absolute minimum target that I could assume that you hit would be something around the 886, but likely you go above that. Just looking at this metric alone, if you were to go above the 886, my next target area would be the 100 at 18.27 cents right there at your all-time high. It's very possible that you could exceed this. Your next target's all the way up at 82.8 cents, but I don't think we see that by the end of March. I don't think that that's what we're going to see, right? I'm just projecting out when this next move ends by the end of March. I think something between here and here is suitable. It's fine. If we take a high to a low of this consolidation phase here, we can see that our 3113, the top of the money zone, lines up very well with this 886 right there at about 10 cents. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we found turbulence there. But you also have your 3618 and your 3786 all the way up here. And the reason why I'm pointing these out at all is because whenever you break, anytime you break above your 2618, which is the recent high that we just had back in January, anytime you break above your 2618, the next target area is the 2886 to the 3786. So anything and everything between about 9.7 cents to 26 cents is on the table. By the ways of the price, if we look at this, to me, it doesn't look like there's a lot of significance here at 9.7 cents. 10 cents psychological area, I could see that being resistance, but really the only significant price areas I see are at about 11.6 cents or 18.2 cents. What I'm trying to say is, if you break above these semi-significant areas of price, you'll likely go to the most significant area of price, which is your all-time high. If you break above the 2618, you automatically have privilege or authority or whatever access to the 2886 to 3786. When you get above the 3113, the only next stopping point is at your all-time highs or above your all-time highs. So 9.7 cents is a minimum target, yes, that we have. But whenever we break that target, if we break that target by the end of March, and I think we will, the only minimum target from there is basically double that, right, at 18 cents or higher. So prepare yourselves, my friends. Prepare yourselves. Anybody and everybody who bought down here, We bought down in this range. If you bought at 0.002 or lower, prepare yourselves, because you might, by the end of March, have landed your very first 100x. It's on its way. It's been phenomenal. We're sitting atop an 11x right now, a 12x right now. I'm calling for something that could be around, if not even more than, another 10x from here. 10 times 10 is 100, my friends. Welcome to crypto. Welcome to your first 100x. It doesn't happen this easy every time. We don't. It's rare, in fact, to happen. But I did say at the beginning of the cycle that I was hoping that we would at least snag one 100x, if not several 100x's. And being that we're not even at the end of the cycle and we're already talking about this as a prospect for anybody that invested down here, that's just phenomenal. I think that that's phenomenal. And there's a lot of time to invest down there. What's even better about that, guys, is that if you're anybody that bought here or above this line, if you bought at the highs here, or even if you bought here, 100x is not off the table. I want to be clear. Even here at 2.4 cents, a 100x is absolutely not off the table. From a high to a low, I actually expect my end of cycle prediction for XCN is at $2.42. And my reasoning for that is, if we take XCN on Coinbase, I theorize that this could be more significantly respected because Coinbase has more volume. This could be more significantly respected because it's the actual all-time high. This could be more respected because Coinbase has the more volume. I don't know what market makers are basing their things off of, but you seem to be finding respect right at your 382 here, basically right at your 069 there. You're finding respect at relatively key areas. If you continue this, your golden extension is all the way up at about $2.42. From here, that's about a 100x. It's just over a 100x. And that kind of market cap for XCN, just so we're aware, it's about, so you're at about 800 million right now. A 100x from here would be about $80 billion. And that is the cap that I have for most coins, right? I think in their first bull cycle, and make no mistake, this is XCN's first bull cycle. It came out at the ass end of the last bull cycle, actually right in the midst of the bear cycle even, right? This is its first bull cycle. I really don't permit or consider that going above $100 billion by the end of the first bull cycle for any coin is something that happens. It does happen, but it's happened for XRP and Ethereum, as far as I know, that those are the only two coins that have seen a $100 billion market cap in their first bull cycle. I don't think, no offense to the XCN community, I don't think this is the next XRP or the next Ethereum. There's things that are better about this, and there's things that are a lot less sophisticated and innovative compared to those other coins, right? Also, we're at a different place in the markets right now. It might be harder for those kind of market caps to be achieved. Those kind of market caps are more achieved and sustained by legacy coins, not by coins that have been around for not even one cycle. So what I'm trying to say by that, all I'm saying by that is $80 billion, I think, is a fair maximum assumption that we can make by the end of the cycle. If we go higher than that, cool. Then at that rate, a price above 246 is possible. Maybe even we reach $3, but I don't see us getting too much above that, right? Just because I can see us going here doesn't mean we have to go here, but also I want to offer the input that oftentimes when you interact with the 1414, you don't actually stop at the 1414, you go just above it. And just above it here is right at that golden ratio on Coinbase. There are ways to make sense out of this too. Am I cherry picking? Am I biased? I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I'm making sense out of it, but maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see. And if that's the case, let's take that stance. Let's go to the minimum target. Even from here, the minimum target is at 82 cents, and this is from the true all-time high to true all-time low fib. So there's no cherry picking here at all. The minimum target would be 82.6 cents. The minimum target from the current price is a 33x. The average altcoin from here until the end of the cycle, I've given the prediction, will do anything from a 17 to a 23x. This thing's 17 to 23x. That's the expected, not the minimum, the expected for the average coin. This thing's minimum, not the expected target, but the minimum target that I don't expect, is above. It's like 12x higher than what I expect the average altcoin to do as an expectation, not as a minimum. So when I say, whenever I'm talking about $1.80 and beyond, $2 and beyond, 100x from here or beyond, I mean that. I genuinely mean that. But even if it doesn't happen, even if I'm wrong, and I can be wrong, I've been wrong before, I will be wrong again. Even if I'm wrong, we're sitting atop a nice 33x from the current price, and I don't think anybody would be upset with that. But certainly, I think we will see prices above $1. I'm expecting that we see prices above $2. We'll see how it goes. I think it all starts now, or maybe it all started back in January or even before that. But from here, the immediate targets to focus on are something between about 10 cents to 25 cents. We're at 2.4 cents now. I'm expecting those moves between 10 to 25 cents to take full effect by the end of March. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.